Hello, you are listening to the Lifted to Life by Dana B podcast. I am Dana B. I thank you for listening. This podcast is not just about self-care, it's about discovering your authentic self. So before I begin today's episode, I want to thank Clarissa, Melanie, and Jamea for responding to the questions from episode 1 on who do you think you are. Responding truthfully to those questions can be helpful in discovering your authentic self. And so I thank you ladies for making your comments, answering your questions, and most importantly, listening to the podcast. Today's episode is titled, How Many Masks Are You Wearing? We tend to show up in spaces where wearing many different masks. The point of discovering your authentic self is that you show up as yourself, not as anyone else. We tend to wear our mask at work. We tend to wear a mask at our child's school, when we get around our friends, at social functions. And if you're single and dating, you show up as something else. I believe they call that the representative. So why do we wear masks? Why do we do that? Why do we put on this facade of who we really are when we show up in places? Are we fearful of what people may think of us when they see the real us? Are we ashamed of who we are? Do we tend to put on a mask because it's a part of our routine? Most of us will say yes. Are we afraid of the big Scooby-Doo reveal? You know, if you ever watched Scooby-Doo and at the end of the episode, the gang would solve the mystery and they would pull the mask off that person. And at the end, they'll say, "Oh my goodness, Mr. Jenkins," or "Old Man Jenkins." And they would coyly say, "Yeah, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky kids." That's old school right there. You would have gotten away with it, but you couldn't keep up the facade long enough. Believe me, when you walk into a room and you are putting on a facade, after a while, the real you shows up. I remember watching Mike Epps' comedy show, and he mentioned a part where he ran into a friend of his. You would run into a friend of yours, and the friend is out with his wife, and he would say, "Hey, Johnny, how you doing?" He's like, nothing much, just chilling out with the old lady, just catching up, and, just doing that. All right. Be blessed, brother. Be blessed. And Mike Epps would say that and ain't like that. Because if that person really knows who you are and you're putting up a front, hey, once again, the real you will show up. We tend to wear masks because it's our go-to persona. It's basically having an alter ego. Unless you are Sasha Fierce, then of course you prepping to take the stage and perform in front of thousands of fans. This ain't Texas. Woo! Wearing a mask for some is a safe space. It covers the reality of what one is facing and dealing with. Now, I will honestly tell you, I was constantly, before becoming a remarkable woman and before discovering my authentic self, I was wearing a mask every single day. Wearing a mask, pretending like my marriage was happy. And I remember being in church one Sunday with my ex-husband, and this couple that was at our wedding, they were walking past us one day after service. And one of the wife said, "Look at y'all two, looking happy as I don't know what, looking like brand new boyfriend, girlfriend, looking just happily newlyweds." Not even knowing that just before we even stepped into the church, we had just been arguing back and forth like crazy. So at that moment, it was put on your game face. So when you walk through the doors of the church, people will believe that you are this happily married couple, knowing full damn well I was miserable as hell. You hear me? So that was a big mask that I was wearing. I was even wearing that same mask at work, pretending like my marriage was great. At work, around friends, really around my family, pretending that my marriage is great. And it was just a matter of time before the mask had to come off. My smile was fake. I was just empty and dark on the inside. I was hollow. I felt defeated. I wasn't showing up for my daughters. I had lost a sense of who I was. I really did. I didn't reckon. It was hard for me to even see who I could become at that moment, because again, I was wearing the mask. There are several definitions of masks. Masks are what you wear as a disguise. In this case, mask is defined as a manner or expression that hides one's true character or feeling, a pretense. Basically, you're a pretender. So who are you pretending to be? Why are you pretending? Are you hiding shame? Are you hiding pain? I will honestly tell you, I was hiding so much pain behind that mask. And it was a pain that I didn't want people to see. I have an aunt who is well in her 80s. She has been wearing a mask as long as I can remember. She was always the bougie auntie. She was the bougie rich auntie. That's who she was in our family. She had the perfect family, husband. She had three children, three kids. And for years, she portrayed herself as the perfect mother and wife. She would brag to her friends of all her trips to multiple countries, Australia, Africa, London, you name it. My aunt has gone to every continent. I later found out that it was all a lie. Yeah, she had gone to Africa, but she had gone to Africa once. She continued to tell people about her world travels until one day someone asked my mother, when is my aunt, we're going to call her Beattie. When is Beattie coming back from her trip? And my mother was so perplexed because she knew my aunt. My mother was so perplexed because she knew my aunt was home and had been home. My aunt wasn't on a trip. So my mother, not wanting to out my aunt, she said, oh, you know what? She just got back a few days ago. But my mother knew my aunt had lied about her being on the trip. Even in her 80s, my aunt still wears a mask. I don't know if it's something chemical. I don't know. But she still walks around being this bougie auntie, telling people till this day that she just got back from her trip to Africa. So because of her masking for years, like I said, my aunt had been wearing a mask from the time for as young as I can remember, all the way up until she's in her 80s. And because of this has caused a big strain on her relationships with her children. Because her kids realized that everything that their mother had said and told them was all a lie. It's a lie. And what also is crazy is that I see little glimmers and glimpses of my aunt's behavior and my cousins. They too are now wearing masks. They don't want people to see their imperfections, so they pretend to have it all together. I bet you that's got to be exhausting to constantly be in character in so many different spaces. You know, you got to remember the lie you told in this space. You got to remember the persona you were in this other space. I wonder if it gets tiring for some. Like you end up mixing them up, if you will. That has to be terrible. It has to be one that it has to be truly exhausting. For a moment, I want you to picture yourself and you're at an event, not just any event. This is an event that has a mixture of people attending. You have celebrities, dignitaries, business owners, authors, influencers, all walks of life. There are all types of food and drink, music, desserts, light mellow music is playing. There is no dress code. So you are invited to this event. What are you wearing? That's the first thing. How are you showing up to this event? Are you wearing your best? What conversations are you having with the individuals that you encounter? Like, what conversations are you having with the celebrities? What conversations are you having with the dignitaries? What conversations are you having with the business owners, the authors, the influencers? What conversations are you having with the everyday person? So has your posture changed as you enter each conversation? What are the conversations about? Of course, each topic is different with each person in the group. But are you wearing a mask as you encounter with that person, with those individuals? As you have conversations with those individuals, are you wearing a mask or are you being your authentic self? So many of us tend to show up in so many spaces and places wearing a mask. How would you look in a space where you are not wearing that mask. So before I end today's episode, I want to share with you an excerpt from the book Journey to the Heart. And it's entitled Awaken to Your Heart's Contentment. One day, you'll awaken to discover your life is all you wanted and hoped it would be. Oh, you'll not find everything just the way your head said you wanted it. It might not be the way you planned, but you'll awaken to your dreams of joy, love, and peace, your dream of freedom. You'll see beyond the illusions. You'll transcend your old limiting beliefs. You'll wake up and notice that your past is just as it needed to be. You'll see where you are today is good. You'll notice that you laugh a lot, cry a lot, smile a lot. You'll look at tomorrow with peace, faith, and hope, knowing that while you cannot control some of what life does, you have possibilities and powers in any circumstance life might bring. The struggle you have lived with for so many years, the struggle in your heart has disappeared. You're secure at peace with yourself and your place in this world. One day you'll awaken to your heart's contentment. Let that day be today. And that is exactly what discovering your authentic self means. Having that sense of peace, that sense of joy, honey. Basically, let me tell you this. Since discovering my authentic self, yes, I cry a lot. And I do laugh a lot. And I certainly smile a lot because I have come to the realization that all I need in my life is peace and joy, and everything else will follow through. You guys have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you next week.